All right, so it is Friday, 11/28, 2025. It is 5:52 a.m., and we are putting another video together. We were looking at the markets. We're done looking at that. We're going to jump into the Genius Act because you want to keep this stuff in mind as you look forward to the future and what's happening in the news. 119th Congress, S 394 is the first session. And I want to just have us look at something real quick. All right. Who may issue a payment stablecoin? It says, all right, it shall be unlawful for any person other than a permitted payment stablecoin issuer to issue a payment stablecoin in the United States. In the United States, meaning if you want to issue a stablecoin in the United States legally, it's gotta go this way, right? You got to be permitted. There's some requirements, standards for the issuance of payment stablecoins. Permitted payment stablecoin issuers shall maintain reserves backing the issuer's payment stablecoin outstanding on at least one-to-one basis with the dollar, with reserves comprising United States coins and currency, funds held as demand deposits, or other deposits that may. Oh, look at that. Hold on. Well, I'll read it. It doesn't matter. But look, you can let it read itself. Or other deposits that may be withdrawn upon request at any time at insured depository institutions, insured FDIC, regulated foreign depository institutions, or insured shares at insured depository institutions subject to limitations established by the corporation and the National Credit Union Administration, respectively, to address safety and soundness risks of such insured depository institutions. Treasury bills, notes, bonds, a remaining maturity of 93 days or less, issued with a maturity of 93 days or less, repurchase agreements with a maturity of 7 days or less that are backed by treasury bills with the maturity of 90 days or less. So this is all how what's got to back it, right? This is talking about what's backing it. Reverse purchase agreements with a maturity of 7 days or less that are collateralized by treasury notes, bills, or bonds, or an overnight. So this is money that floats in the United States economy. So what they're saying is, if I think I got this right, is one-to-one with the dollar, or you're going to have treasury notes, bills, or bonds that have a 90-day or less maturity date. Says tri-parties, right? Centrally cleared through a clearinghouse or bilateral with a counterpart that the issuer has determined to be adequately creditworthy, even in the event of severe market stress. Money market funds invested solely in underlying assets described in clauses I and IV. What is this? I don't know. It's a number, obviously. Central bank reserve deposits, public disclosure, the issuer's redemption policy, establish procedures for timely redemption, publish the monthly composition of the issuer's reserves. All right, so these are all things that they got to do. Prohibition on certification, general, a permitted payment stablecoin issuer shall each month have the information disclosed. And so they need all that information just to make you valid to issue stable coins in the United States for the United States economy. And so remember, we talked about in a past video that PayPal's, who was it, Pax, had applied to be able to do this. Of course, Circle or Coinbase's USDC applied to do this. Ripple's RLUSD, their dollar applied to do this. What was the other one? I can't remember the other name. And then on a state level, Tailcoin, right? But we're talking about for the United States on a federal level. This is what PayPal, USDC, or Circle, and Ripple are applying to do right now. So they're going to be reporting this information, and they're going to have where is it at? Treasury 1-to-1 with the dollars. You got to have a dollar to match each stable coin, and or Treasury notes, bills, bonds, right, with a 90-day maturity. So that means they have to then also take their money or their liquidity and invest it into the bonds, Treasury bonds, so on and so forth, which will give the value of their stable coin and make it useful in the United States. And they have to report all the time. What is it? Monthly, it looks like. What was it? They're asking, I don't know. Each month, monthly. Stablecoin issuer each month must have this information to close. So they got to keep their records of everything up to date each month for the 1-to-1, $1 to $1, the bonds, treasury notes, all that. Let's see. The authority of the primary federal regulators in prescribing standards under this paragraph differentiate among issuers on an individual basis or by category, taking into consideration their capital structure, riskiness, complexity, financial activities, including financial activities of their subsidiaries, size, and or other risk-related factors that the primary federal regulator determines appropriate. So there could be some wavering to each company, right, based on certain factors, right? So yeah, in a sense, they're going to have to set it up play by play, but the general information still sits. Like you're going to follow their rules. All right, limitation on stablecoin activities. In general, a permitted payment stablecoin issuer may only issue payment stablecoins. So, if they permit you, you can only issue payment stablecoins, redeem payment stablecoins, manage related reserves, including purchasing and holding reserve assets, provide custodial or safekeeping services for payment stablecoins, required reserves or private keys of payment stablecoins. This sounds like banking, right? This sounds like sliding into banking. So you can't be running a cryptocurrency in a sense, right? If you're going to bank, this is what this sounds like. I might be wrong, but that's what it looks like we're reading here. Again, that's what the whole thing was. You are applying to essentially be a bank when you get to stable coins, because a stable coin is like the dollar. It's identical, just different because it's digital and how it moves. It's internet money, to say. Undertake other functions that directly support the work of issuing and redeeming payment stable coins. So these are all important things. Let me see. Regulation of federal qualified non-bank payment stablecoin issuers. The comptroller of the currency shall, in coordination with other relevant regulators, issue such regulations and orders as necessary to ensure the safety and soundness of any non-bank entity approved by the comptroller to issue payment stablecoins. And so you can become a bank, or you can be a subsidiary of a bank, which we read prior. So if you go to the last video, we talked about those things as we were learning. And all this is the Genius Act. That's why. All right. Was there anything else major? Let's see. I'm trying to set us up for the other information we're going to be getting. So, all right. Maybe I'll post a link in the video so you all can see this. And maybe I'll later on go through the whole thing and do a more in-depth video where we just go through this and try to understand it, because we can always get into some artificial intelligence to help us understand exactly the details. Other than that, we're going to kill it right there.